Val here with Gambler Lures, and I'm getting ready to fish my first invitational tournament on Okeechobee. So this is a tournament. We've been off limits for 30 days. I spent a lot of time on the water before we went off limits, and now I've kind of been waiting and watching, get ready to get on the water. And, I think things are going to be a lot different from before I got off limits. There's been a couple weeks of just really cold weather. It looks like there's a warming trend coming. I'm not sure if it's going to cool back down for the tournament or not, but it causes our fish to move a lot. And these nice cold fronts are going to get these fish ganged up a little better. And I'm sure there's going to be areas that I went through during pre-practice that look good, but just didn't have any fish in them because they hadn't moved in yet. But that cold weather, that water temperature is going to get those fish on the move, spawn, especially if we get some nice warm weather. So a couple things, we got 3 days to find fish basically. I'll start out with some moving baits. A couple favorites, obviously this chatterbait. This is Tackle Warehouse version of it. I like our Komodo trailer on it. It does a really good job of kind of being subtle, but still having a little bit of action. So I think that'll be a big player for me when I'm kind of looking for fish and going through these big grass field areas. A swim jig, again, another moving bait. A lot of crappie, fishing's been excellent, and this kind of little crappie colored jig to mimic what these fish are probably feeding on in some of these areas. And of course the Big Easy. It's hard to come to Okeechobee and not have a Big Easy tied on. You can buzz it on the surface, you can slow swim it through grass, and it just catches fish. Nice big profile, big targets. If I get in an area where I'm starting to get a lot of bites and I feel like there's fish have moved into spawn, I'll probably slow down a little bit. We've got our Fat Ace, kind of rigged out on a lightweight, Texas rigged, and throw that in the holes and pockets. And then our burner worm is another great subsurface. There's some flooded eelgrass here. There's a little bit of submerged hydrillo around, pad fields. That's what these fish are going to be using. And this big burner worm really target the bigger bites in the area. You got to be able to catch a couple big bites a day here to really threaten to win. Get you up yourself in those upper mid 20 bag, at least over 20 pounds. I think to have a couple of bags like that to do well in this tournament. If we get some adverse weather conditions, it's no secret in Florida that these fish will get tight to cover and pull into real thick vegetation. In that case, I'm really going to be looking at two baits: our Cricket, which is a real small profile, and the Why Not, which won a big tournament here on this lake. Flipping that bait already, so it won't hurt my feelings at all if it gets a little tougher and it's a kind of a punch and flipping deal. And those two with a nice big heavy weight, find some thick cover around these spawning grounds, and go to work with a flipping rod in my hand. So really, that's kind of what I'm preparing for. I still have a little bit of time left to see what the weather does, but that's the basic Okeechobee arsenal. If you can find them on these baits in the area, get a couple big bites, you're going to do well.